Hey guys, Carlos Colon here with Georgia Perimeter Homes, and today we're going to be talking about how to spot a bad investment. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our weekly video. So let's jump right in. So let's figure out, okay, when we're talking about investment, what are we talking about here? In real estate, this could be whether we're trying to buy a property to sell it. It could be a piece of land. It could be land with a house on it. Obviously, we're talking about improved real estate, improved land that goes with the house. So as we do this, it's very important to start to walk through kind of the different types of investments. So we have land, we have houses, we have new construction, and then we need to define investment because that is such a broad term. Obviously, when you think about the word investment, what we're looking at is we're putting something in, we want to get something back. Now, what we get back and when we get it back and how we get it back, those are questions that only you can answer. And so it's important to know that those are the most important questions you need to answer in order to determine whether something is a good or bad investment. For example, if I'm looking for a house to rent, the margins on how I should purchase it are very different than if I'm looking to flip it. Now, there is a fine line to where once you cross a certain number, it doesn't make a difference. It's good for either a flip or a buy and hold, like a rental. But it will depend on the area, the price point, the type of home, and the condition, most importantly. So types of income. So this is what we really need to kind of determine when we talk about an investment, which is how am I getting my money back, or what kind of money am I getting back? Types of income, when I say that, we're referring to, am I looking for a one big check and move on to the next project? Or am I looking for consistent checks every single month from this investment? You see, those are very, very different plans. It's the equivalent of thinking about the stock market and going, I'm going to do penny stocks, right? High risk, big rewards if it works out, or also big losses, versus safer risk. I'm going to go in and I'm going to invest in Delta, and I'm going to hold on to that for 10 years and then sell and make some profit. So those are different plans. Same rules apply to real estate. If you're looking for one big check real quick, that typically is I'm flipping a house or I'm flipping land. So maybe you know somebody that's willing to sell you a house or a piece of land very cheaply, and you just want to put it right back on the market and sell it and make one check and move on. Okay, that's one plan. All right. If you're looking more for a passive or a passive style form of income, which is a check every month, the check's not going to be as big, obviously, but the idea is the continuous returns from it. And if you decide to sell it in the future, what you're really getting back out of that is also the appreciation. And so that's a completely different plan than this when we're talking about flipping. So when you're talking about renting a home, and that's why I call a buy and hold situation. What you're looking to do is, in my case, for example, purchase a house. How close to 1% or higher of the purchase price can I rent it out for? So if I purchase a house for $100,000, can I rent it out for at or close to $1,000 a month, if not more? And if I can, how much money do I need to put into it in order to get it there? And what does that look like? Because we need to weigh out the cash in, right? And so it's also important that we determine how much cash do I really have to spend on this investment. Because if I'm going out and spending all my own cash to do this and not taking out any loans, then all of a sudden the plan might change depending on what that looks like. If I've only got $50,000, I'm very limited on what I can do. Versus if I'm taking that same $50,000 and taking it out a conventional loan at 20% down, all of a sudden my world just opened up on what I can do with that money. So you need to really understand that process and how it works. And also what's going to work best for you. So spotting a bad investment. The way I would really go about it is, number one, I'm interested in the property, whether it be the location, the condition, or I'm just, I think it's style great, or it's a great looking house. Sure, whatever. and I want to pick it up as an investment, the first thing I need to determine is, okay, what kind of investment is this going to be? Is this going to be a flip, or is this going to be a buy and hold? Or maybe something in between. There's some investments that have more than one door or more than one unit to it. So maybe I rent out one side and the other side I want to Airbnb. Yeah, there's a lot of different strategies to real estate in today's market. So I have to determine that. And then at that point, I look at my numbers according to what my acquisition costs, so what it's going to cost me to actually buy it and also turn it around in order to get it to the condition that I need it to be in to do what I want to do with it, are going to be to get to that final result. Now, as a rule of thumb, let's say that I'm spending $300,000 to acquire and renovate a property. Because of the amount of cash I'm having to put into it in order to do that, I don't want to tie up that kind of money on just one property. So as a rule of thumb, in my world, that would be a flip. I would want to make sure that I can sell that property pretty quickly, get my money back and then some, and move on. But if I'm acquiring a property pretty cheaply, then at that point I have to ask myself, is this property worth keeping? And if it is, for how many years do I plan on keeping it? At what rental rates? And then also, what is the deferred maintenance on this property? So is it going to need a new roof in 3 years? Is it all old electrical from the 1920s? That makes a big difference in whether I hold the property or not. So you have to determine all those things, because those costs can get outrageous. There's no point in hanging on to a rental home if it's costing you $20,000 a year in upgrades. So you have to determine these things on the front side. And again, the more money in on the front side, the more likely you're going to have to flip it or sell it, or more likely you should flip it, sell it, get your money back, and move on. So I am not the one that determines that. That's for you to determine according to what your financial goals are for investing in real estate. So, again, you could go in thinking you want to rent a house out and go, it's going to cost me $100,000 to purchase. Great. I plan on spending about $15,000 in renovations. Oh no, look, I spent $60,000 in renovations. This has happened before to some investors that I work with. And if that happens, okay, I need to sell that house. I've put way too much money into it. The plan has completely changed. Understand that it's okay for the plan to change. But you need to spot and make sure, if that were to happen when you're purchasing on the front side, are you still okay flipping that home rather than renting it? So you determine all of these factors on the front side. The more money you're spending on the front side, the higher the risk. Okay? That's a rule of thumb that works all the way across the board, no matter what you're doing with it. So, with land, I've flipped land before. It works really, really well because there's not a whole lot you need to do to it. There's some stuff you can do to it to make it more valuable, and we can get into that in a different video. But land's pretty easy. You pick it up for one price, you sell it for another, great, move on. Or maybe you split it up and sell it in sections. That's okay too. So if you want to know more about investing in real estate, or interested in selling your home or buying a home in the state of Georgia, please give us a call at 770-314-1285 or check out our website at www.georgiaperimeterhomes.com. Thanks. Bye.